Papa. I'm Sloane Taylor and welcome to What's Cooking Wednesday. Today we're going Greek with a great salad that works as a regular meal in the hot weather, and during the rest of the year it's a perfect side dish. Make sure you get gyros from your favorite carry-out store or at the grocery store in the refrigeration section. So our salad consists of green pepper, cucumber, garlic, red pepper, and of course tomatoes, and feta cheese, which is a Greek product you can find at any grocery store, either in the deli counter or in the packaged cheese counter. Now, I had a young man email me last week and said, "We love your recipes, we love the way you do the videos. The problem is, we don't know what you mean when you say clean a green pepper." Well, I think I should show you then, huh? So what we do is take our cutting board and the green pepper. Let me get this out of the way. And you cut off the top. Throw that in the trash. Clean out this section here. Pop it out. You want to tap out all the seeds into the trash or your sink. Then you cut the pepper in half lengthways. And now you see these ribs? This is what you need to clean out. These do not taste good in any food. So you just use your knife carefully, don't cut your hands. And you scrim that along. Drop that in the trash. This needs a little bit more trimming. Then do this one too. Another way to do it, since this salad calls for chunks of green pepper, you can do this, which is a lot faster. See now? Whack off the membrane. You can be wasteful and throw that out, because by the time you clean that out, there won't be enough of anything to make it matter. Okay, so now for our salad, we have tomato, which I've already cut up a bunch of it, but I wanted to show you. The recipe that you're going to see at the end of the video calls for Roma or plum tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomato. In fact, all of these are from our garden. So now, when you have a garden, sometimes you have tomatoes that are like this, where part of it has not ripened. And then there are other times when you have tomatoes that have grown together. Well, this is a perfect recipe for those kind of tomatoes. So now with the one where it's still kind of raw, unripened, you just cut that right off. Then that little bit of core that's in there, just slice that out, toss that away. Good to go with the salad, cutting the tomato, into quarters. And then half again, because you want this in bite-sized pieces, so it's convenient for people to eat. And of course, you can hear my husband Studs in the background complaining because I do not have on gloves. Sorry, dear. So now this tomato is one that has grown together instead of stayed separate. So we don't want all this hard stuff, because that's going to detract from the good taste of our salad. So we just cut around that and toss it out. Then we take what's left, quarter it, throw it in our bowl. Do the same with this other side. See, now that's good. This will just junk. I'm going to cut that in half. And then in half again. Put these in our bowl. Now back to the green pepper. I'm going to cut this into, again, bite-sized pieces. If you like green pepper, use a lot. If you don't like green pepper, just use a little bit. And in this salad, we're going to use just a little bit. That's good enough. That'll that in here. Now we have red onion that's already been cut up and cucumber that's already been cut up. So we're going to add both of these to the salad. Empty in the cucumber, add in the sink. Now, with the red pepper, here's a tip for you. When you have onion, big reach, and a lot of onion makes your eyes water, you tear up. Cut off the root end first, then this top part, and let it sit for a couple of minutes. That it lets the gas from the tomato escape, and it will help with the crying and the tearing, okay? And another tip, chop up the onion as much as you like, and if you have excess, put it in a baggie and throw it in your freezer and use it when you're cooking something that requires sauteed onion or onion in a soup like that. Now the red onion that we're using, you need to break it up. You've sliced it thin, but you want to break up the pieces so that a big clump like that doesn't just fall in the salad and lay in one big place where it's not going to taste good. You need to spread it around a little bit. Now the pieces that are large, just snap them in half. It will work very easy, goes quick. See? Now, put that to the side. And you're going to mix this with your hands. Here's my husband again having a stroke. See? Now if you have this as a dinner, serve it with a lovely loaf of crusty bread and then a nice bottle of white wine. Now we're going to make the dressing. So we'll put that to the side. The directions say to make it in a small bowl, but so you can see what I'm doing, we decided that it's best to do it in a measuring cup. Now we need all our little utensils come to part. First, we're going to use olive oil. You want a good brand of olive oil. There are some out there that are absolutely terrible. I can't say the name of those because I could get sued, but go for the middle price on olive oil. Don't go for the real cheap because that's going to be raw, green, very, very harsh tasting. Don't go for the real expensive unless you want to go to culinary school, but you don't need to go with that real expensive type. So now I'm going to cheat and pull my recipe over here a little bit. We went 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So we're going to do that. Now if you noticed, I let it pour with as I was dumping the spoon. I do this because I really want a little bit more of the olive oil than I do what the recipe says, but you can be precise. And then we're going to put in a half tablespoon of lemon juice. Here's a tip for you. Minute Maid sells a great product in the freezer section by the juices. This is the equivalent of 7 lemons in this bottle. Lasts 8 to 10 weeks in your refrigerator, and it's $2.20 as opposed to 75 cents to $1 per lemon. So we're going to do the same here. We're going to put in our lemon juice, a little extra squirt for flavor. Must be refrigerated though, don't forget that. And then, let's see, next we have red wine vinegar. Yum, my favorite. Love this brand, Filippo Barrio, because of the acid content. You can buy cheaper red wine vinegars, but the acid content is 5%. It doesn't give the bite you need for your salads or your cooking. And for this, we want 1 tablespoon. So we will that. And remember, we use those cheap facial tissues to wipe up little spills, keep our work area clean. So then we have a teaspoon of dried oregano. This is fresh oregano. You don't want to use this in this kind of a preparation because these little leaves, you can't chop them up fine enough and it's going to taste terrible to the people who are trying to eat it. So we went a teaspoon of dried oregano, but we're going to go with a nice rounded teaspoon. Drop that in, cap up our oregano, and then we need some freshly ground black pepper, and this is always to taste, however much you like it to be. And then we whisk this. So now, there we go. Oh, and we forgot our garlic. Here's our garlic. Plop that in. Mix it up. You only want the salad seasoned. You do not want it drowning in dressing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a large spoon. We're going to spread out some of the dressing. 3 big spoons will work nicely. Then we're going to toss it. See? Don't you love that clanking? That's what it looks like. You see how moist it is? Maybe a little bit more dressing, but not a great lot because it will not taste good. All you'll taste is the dressing. So we'll put just a touch more. Give it another couple of... Should probably have used wooden spoons so the clanking wouldn't be in the way. And there's the salad. Now, here's another tip. We're going to use feta cheese. Greek cheese, like I explained, you can get it in any grocery store, in the deli, or in the, specialty cheese aisle, okay? So here you go. You only want enough to flavor the salad. We are not going to use all of this. It would be disgusting. It would be so much, it would overpower our food. All additions to any dish should accent your dish. No flavor should overpower the whole dish. So, and now my husband will really have a stroke. So we take this big block of cheese and we break off a nice section and you crumble it across the salad. Doing this, you can play some Greek music, you can think of saganaki, flaming cheese. Now, can you see this? That's how it is. And you can make this salad right in your salad bowl. There's no reason to have to make separate bowls and then dish it up into a decent dish. You just make it right in your serving dish and you're good to go. So here's another tip for you. Now I've got all this feta cheese, right? What am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to put it in a plastic or glass container, not metal. Plop it in there, and then I'm going to add a little water to it. Because that will keep the cheese moist. You see, it's just maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of water just to keep the cheese moist. Because when you buy it in the store at the deli, it will be in a brine. Then we cover it and store it in our fridge. Now, one last thing goes in this salad. Beautifully sliced black olives. Buy them at the store in little cans where they're already sliced. Don't try slicing them yourself. You'll end up with a mountain of cut fingers. Sprinkle that on top, and you are good to go. Now, in each video, I offer tips, and for each video, we do a little contest, where at the end of the video, my email address will be there. You email me. For this video, it would say video 4 tips in the subject line, and then in the body of the email, just put in the number of tips you heard today and a little clue. Each tip is preceded by the word tip. So now we are done. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope your family enjoys it. May you spend all the days of your life with friends, laughter, and seated around a well-laden table. Bye. See you next week.